Today we're talking about the dual exhaust system fitting your 2015 through 2025 liter F-150. Now the dual exhaust catback that we're featuring here today will be one of your most affordable full stainless options currently on the site for your Coyote powered F-150, while also delivering some flexibility with how you want the system to look thanks to the included dual side exit or dual rear exit piping. Now, interested buyers can look forward to that 409 grade stainless steel build throughout, including your chambered muffler design. That will certainly increase the bark over your stock system, all for right around that high $300 price point. All right, guys, as is tradition, let's get right into the sound clips here you can expect with the affordable dual system in place. And as you just heard, certainly louder than stock, but not by a ton. And that's probably one of the things I enjoy most about this particular system. Listen, if you want to be the loudest truck on the block, well, there's going to be other systems out there that will be more aggressive. But if you're looking to make enough rumble on the street without driving your wife or the neighbors crazy and while saving a bunch of money, then this is certainly going to be the system for you. So breaking out my patented Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm going to go soft 3 out of 5 here on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Again, louder than stock, no doubt, but certainly not crazy loud. Now inside the truck, on the other hand, things do remain relatively quiet with only a small amount of noise noticeable at cruising speeds. Regardless, guys, definitely check out the customer reviews on this one as well, as there are a bunch to read about here. And it's always good to hear from fellow F-150 owners who have actually installed this system and want to tell you about it. But with the sound covered, let's talk about the quality and construction. And as I did mention briefly at the start of this video, guys, you're looking at currently one of the most affordable full stainless steel systems on the site for your 2015 through 2020 truck. Now, you are getting that 409 grade stainless here to be exact, which is your mid-level material behind 304 grade stainless on the top end and that aluminized steel rounding out the lower side of things. 409, definitely a solid material that will offer great corrosion resistance even in those snowy or salty areas. But aside from the material, you are also looking at a combination of 3-inch and 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing, 3-inch leading into the chambered muffler. It does split down to 2.5-inch after the fact before exiting out of the polished 3.5-inch tips. Now, maybe one of my favorite things here about this system, aside from the affordability and the bark, is the fact that they kick in piping to allow this to be a dual side exit or a dual rear exit configuration. I think that's killer, allows you to change up the look pretty easily, and it's not something a lot of exhaust companies are doing, especially at this price point. In fact, the one that comes to mind, the C&L Proving Ground series, might be a slightly nicer option at the end of the day. And then Flowmaster does it as well, of course. But regardless, if you want to see the rest of our selection here at AT, never a bad idea. All right, so we've talked about the price throughout the video, and for good reason. Again, at or around that high $300 mark, guys. This is currently one of the most affordable full stainless steel dual catbacks on the site for your F-150, and at the time of this video, it's by a pretty hefty margin. All right, guys, let's talk about the install here. Site claims there might be a little trimming needed for the main or front pipe with the new dual exhaust system. That is something the instructions will lay out for you pretty clearly. Regardless, you're gonna be looking at a middle of the road, 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you, I would say, 3 hours at most to get in place from start to finish. But regardless, to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, 3/8 extension, 17, 16, 13, and 10 millimeter socket, and a 17 and 13 millimeter wrench, and also not shown be a lift and pull jacks. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our F-150. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to install a stock one, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
So first step here for our install, we're gonna grab our 13 millimeter socket on the U-joint. We're gonna loosen up the flange up near our catalytic converters, and that will basically let our exhaust sit in the exhaust hanger isolator. So at that point, all we're gonna do is lubricate them, slide the whole thing back, and since we're on a lift, we'll be able to pull the whole exhaust out in one piece. Now, if you are working on the ground, you won't have as much room as I do. You might have to make a couple cuts to get this out, but it's just as simple as that. So this one is a little bit tough to get to. So it should come right out. And same thing goes with this one. The U-joint here is almost a must if you want to use the impact. If you're using a ratchet, it should clear no problem. So now our exhaust is loose at the front. We just need to lubricate these rubber hanger isolators so we can slide our exhaust back and out. For that, I'm gonna use PB Blaster here. You can use white lithium grease. As you can see, this one has had on it before. So we're just gonna give this a shot here on both sides. So now we can take our exhaust hanger removal tool and we're just gonna work that out. So now we have two more hangers supporting our exhaust, and all we're gonna do for this one right above our muffler is grease it up. For now, you can see it doesn't have that barb at the end, so we're gonna leave this in just to support our exhaust. We're gonna grease up the other one, and then we can slide this whole thing back. So this last one here, right on our tailpipe, again, we're just gonna hit it with some PB Blaster. And again, this doesn't have the barb on it either. So now we should be good to push this whole exhaust back and pull it off of our truck.
So we're gonna start off by putting our front pipe in with our flange up here. I'm gonna put this over our cross member. And as you can see, we already have our clamp here that has our hanger built in. You can just get that in place on our isolator back here just to help hold it up so we can get our front hardware in. So now that that's there, we're gonna grab our supplied bolts and washers and nuts and get them threaded in up here. We're gonna come up here, grab our bolt with our flat washer, put that through the back side, and grab our nut and thread that on to the front. The same thing over here. And we're just gonna leave this loose for now, and once we get the rest of the exhaust on, we'll come back and tighten this all up. Next, we're gonna get our muffler in place. You can see we already have our larger clamp on our muffler. Just gonna set this up on our pole jack just to help hold it in place and slide it into our front pipe. Next, we're gonna put our over the axle pipe on for our passenger side. Now, it will be the longer one with our hanger in the rear. We're gonna do this by putting it in the hanger and the muffler at about the same time. As you see, we already have our clamp on our muffler. Get that all lined up. And do that at the same time. For our driver's side pipe out of our muffler, we're actually gonna take our factory hanger off here and put it on our exhaust pipe first, just to make it a little bit easier. We're gonna grab our impact and 10mm socket. Take that out, and it slides out of the frame like so. So as you can see, I already have our isolator on our hanger here and our clamp over our muffler. We're just gonna get that into our muffler over our axle. Then we can get our hanger into place. Slide that back into our frame. Grab our impact and 10mm socket with our bolt and tighten that back down. Before we get our next crossover pipe on that goes around the spare tire, we just need to put our new hanger on. So you see our hanger here, and we already have our isolator on there. I have a bolt and our flat washer. It's gonna go through this bottom hole in the frame here. And then on the back side, we're gonna have our square plate with our nut. Get that all in place. Now this is all 17mm hardware. So we're gonna grab a 17mm wrench to hold the nut, and then our impact and 17mm socket to tighten it down. Get it snug and then get it angled correctly. And now we can get our crossover pipe on. Now for our crossover pipe, you'll see I already have our clamp on there. We're gonna slide it into the pipe coming out of the muffler and into our hanger over here. So now that we have all of our main exhaust pipes ran, we have our options here. So now we have two different tip options. We have straight back, and then we have angled out the side. We're gonna do angled out the side here, just personal preference. It really doesn't matter, but you can put that on now. And once again, we already have our clamp on there. You can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll start from the front, tightening everything, working our way back, adjusting as needed. Then we're gonna start at our front flange here. Now we have our exhaust pipe lined up to where we need it to be. We're gonna tighten our flange down. Now you wanna tighten them down going back and forth, not one side at a time, because it will just cock the flange to one side. We're gonna grab our impact and 13mm socket and a 13mm wrench and tighten it down. Gonna move further back, and we have our hanger here and then our front muffler clamp. So they're both the same. We're going to use our impact and 16mm socket and tighten those both down. At the back of our muffler here, we have our 2.5 inch clamps. So you just want to orient them correctly. You see how I have this one just so it doesn't hit the drive shaft. And then same thing, impact and 16mm socket. Now we have our clamp for our crossover pipe. Tighten that down. Still the same 16mm socket. Now we have our angled pipe here. If you need to, you can just slip your tip on just to get the correct angle. We already did that. We're just gonna tighten this clamp down here. Lastly, we just have our tip. So slide that over, adjust it to how far you want it sticking out. And the same thing, impact and 16mm socket. Now once you have this side all secured, you can go to repeat the same step for the angled pipe and the tip on the other side. And that wraps up our install of our dual exhaust system with polished tips for a rear exit for a 2015 to 2020 5-liter F-150. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.